The protagonist wakes up in a new world after dying in his previous life. He was admitted into an hospital after graduation. Our protagonist was just tossed from school to hospital. He had an incurable disease. He had suffered from the deadly and painful disease while he was in the hospital, being temporarily preserved till he died. Our protagonist was now reincarnated to another world. He was reincarnated to another body while still retaining his previous memories of his past life. While the memories of his new body previous owner flowed into his mind, he found out his name was Su Xiosho. He was a disciple of the Tiansang Spirit Palace. He was a virgin-ass loser who had been in the Spirit Palace for years but still couldn't get past the third acquired stage of spiritual cultivation. He was ridiculed and mocked by his peers for being a virgin-ass loser. In order to have a chance of breaking through to the next stage, he went into a death seclusion with a 30% rate of breaking through and a 70% rate of dying, so no one in the Spirit Palace had any high hopes for him. To their evaluation, they all concluded that he was indeed going to die since he's trash and trash would always be trash. Two disciples of the Tiansang Spirit Palace walked into a courtyard, Lu Jin and Zhou Zhou. They were both surprised to see that they weren't the only ones at the courtyard. He said, "Why are there so many people here?" Thinking maybe the information was leaked, but he still tried to understand the situation. While acting dumb, he said to the small crowd, "What are you all doing here?" A random guy smirked and told him he was late and they all had arrived before sunset, and more of the small crowd all started voicing out. Some said that they were there since last night, while others said that they have been there since the day before yesterday. Some other guy said he was there since 3 days ago. Another guy told Lu Jin that his intel was lacking behind. Lu Jin realized that Elder Chiao had sold the information to him for a lot of spirit crystal. He thought he had been scammed because Elder Chiao had also shared the info with a lot of people for their spirit crystals. Lu Jin was now angry. Zhou Zhou was confused, so he asked Senior Lu Jin whether the landlord of the house and courtyard isn't that trash third stage spiritual cultivator Su Xiosho. What benefits does he has to attract so much people? Another guy from the then told he that although Su Xiosho might just be a mere trash, Su Xiosho had been in the outer yard of the Spirit Palace for years. He must have a huge savings. His yard is worth thousands of spirit crystals. And he also has a 9th grade sword. That's why a lot of people has came for the loot. Zhou Zhou was surprised, thinking that a 9th grade spiritual sword was indeed a treasure. Then he turned to Lu Jin asking how they'll be able to get it. Lu Jin then told him that as soon as the area dissipate they will rush in and grab his sword and body. "I don't know why these losers are planning to take our protagonist's body." Lu Jin and Zhou Zhou tried going closer to the array to get a better position cause they felt that a huge fight must surely break out. Lu Jin and Zhou Zhou was stopped by some guys that they demanded for Senior Lu Jin and Zhou Zhou to stay back and don't come forward, but Lu did not relent and insisted that he was their senior and that they should give way for him to go through, but the other guys told him that just because he is a 5th acquired stage spiritual cultivator it doesn't matter, that his group had the number. All the disciples on the Su Xiosho's courtyard started arguing. It felt like they would soon start tiring each other apart. Then suddenly the door to the main house opened and a figure walked out. When everyone realized what was happening and turned back to look at this newly arrived figure, they were all dumbfounded. The figure was no other than protagonist Su Xiosho. With a look of disdain, he said to the crowd that the sun isn't even up yet, and they're just standing around and yapping at his courtyard and disturbing his beauty sleep. Everyone at the courtyard yard was shocked with their mouth wide open. You might even be able to stuff in a dark egg. With shocked expression, they all asked aloud why Su Xiosho wasn't dead, with surprise still in their faces. Su Xiosho looked down and told himself that the Su Xiosho you all know is indeed dead. Knowing that he was reincarnated into Su Xiosho's body, after dying from an untreatable disease, he was now in the body of a 3rd acquired stage spiritual cultivator of the Tiansang Spirit Palace. He was now in a world different from Earth. He had retained both memories from his previous life and the past of his new life. The previous owner of this body went into a death seclusion and died. That's how he was reincarnated into this new body. Back to the scene when he had just woken up from the reincarnation circle. Inside his sea of consciousness he saw a spinning wheel. The spinning wheel had some engravings on it. He took a closer look and saw the words passive system and active system. He was delighted that he was being given a system because he had read about them during his previous life. He looked at the two words on the spinning wheel and pondered. He thought that in games, active skills are always better than passive skills. So if he was to choose, he would pick the active. Because he doesn't think he can kill his enemies with a passive skill. He took another glance at the wheel and realized that the word active system took a bigger portion of the wheel, so he was sure he's going to get the active system. He started wondering how the clock-like wheel works. He tried pulling the pointer, but his firm grip broke it in an instant. My boy was pissed and scolded the system for being such a cheapskate product. He thought that even a real spinning wheel is more steady than this piece of crap. He then decided to spin the wheel instead of the pointer. To his surprise, it starts spinning, and our boy was delightedly praying to get the active system. Suddenly a notification popped up. Our boy took a look at its content. It said, "Congratulations, you have obtained the passive system." Our boy was dumbfounded. Su Xiaoshu felt he brought this bad luck upon himself because if he hadn't messed with the pointer he wouldn't have gotten a passive system. Another notification came up. Passive system activated. Passive system is now loading. Our boy felt that this system was really a scam. He then checked the system interface. There was a notification saying he had gotten an extended basic breathing technique. Our boy thought he got scammed twice. First it was a shitty passive system, now an extended basic passive skill called breathing technique. Su Xiaoshu says who would need a breathing technique to breath. He tried breathing in, to show how useless the passive skill was. He took in a big breath. Su Xiaoshu was shocked beyond his wildest dream. He had broken through just from talking a breath. His previous benefactor had been in the spirit palace for years and was only at the third stage. But he with the passive skill breathing technique broke through to the fourth level in just a breath time. Our boy felt that this passive skill can make his cultivation much faster than everyone else with his breathing technique. While our boy was still thinking about the breathing technique, a tiny mosquito stuck to his neck and took a big bite like he was the king of vampires. Dracula, our little vampire, got slapped by Su Xiaoshu. Instantly a new notification came up saying he was attacked and got a +1 passive point. He stares at the dead vampire on his hand and decided to check the system interface. Seeing this notification, our boy concluded that he could level up his technique with the passive points, but he only had 1 passive point. Thinking of how he could possibly get more points, Su Xiaoshu thought if he would have to farm mosquitoes with his blood from now on. Our boy started hearing the noise coming from outside his house and he decided to go check it out. Stepping out of his house, he saw a small crowd staring at him with eyes of disbelief and suspicion. Everyone was shocked that the virgin-ass loser wasn't dead. They were all wondering how he was still alive. Some started to even think that maybe he didn't go into seclusion in the first place. Su Xiaoshu got more notifications. Suspected passive points +12. Our boy had a mischievous smile on his face while looking at the notification. I thank you from the bottom of my ass for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel for more juicy contents like this. If you don't subscribe, our little vampire mosquito is going to suck your little pippy dry. Thank you.